Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, bonjour, bonsoir, wherever you are. This is your host, Mustafa Bayo, in another edition of Columbus African Spotlight. We are going to be talking about the Columbus African Festival as we have been doing for the past 2 days. And today we have another performer that is going to be featured at the Columbus African Festival going down this Saturday and Sunday, July 29th and 30th at Genoa Park, downtown Columbus. Let's get into it. So, today, get ready to be blown away as we dive into the exhilarating world of MDG. MDJ, also known as Menace de Général. Menace de Général, that's his name. This emerging music sensation hails from all the way from Sierra Leone, and he is poised to make a mark in the industry with his unique blend of Afrobeat, hip hop, and R&B. At 35 years old, MDG has already lived a truly extraordinary life that few can imagine, surviving the horrors of a devastating civil war that claimed countless lives and left many maimed. He emerged as a beacon of self-motivation and positivity in the face of enormous adversity. He's now based in DC, in Washington, DC. MDG has become synonymous with talent and resilience. And it's no wonder why the Columbus African Festival is bursting with pride and to feature him on our illustrious stage alongside other remarkable performers. On today's episode of the Columbus African Spotlight, we are honored to have MDG grace our presence as we delve into his inspiring journey, talking about his inspiration and aspiration. So get ready. This is going to be another fun episode of Columbus African Spotlight with MDG. Don't go anywhere. Just check out just his first music, and then we'll be with the guest of honor. Shall be right back.
Parable. You push me west and I come east, and you push me east and I come west. And me now waiting.
You na matches inside box, they not able to lock you one side.
Well done. Yeah. Come on. Think you want for X me out, but I am the clock tower. Always on time and proper. Yeah, I get it from higher power. When the beat drops, I go in. Make my nest sweat like a bow zen. The boy not the got by this team, and they hit when I win. I mean, one, no get win by this team. My juice I spread all over, cause the boy carry bomba data. Menace me a top shotter. Signing now, never later. Guns blazing, I'm reloading. Straight from the dome, I be spitting. I devise 10,000 for enter the ring. Could I want bouting, huh?
Don't want to lock, but I still did knock. They keep me out, said no why. Cause when I enter Tangangeto, iti Tangangeto,
Think you want for X me out, but man still maintain me grounds. Plenty no know me struggle, cause I keep it very humble. No they talk boku, just to show them the things I do. They know when say me not sound guru, but me one and the one no they ever make two. And that's me. Just can lay them flat, pancake. Nobody know they way better pass me for God's sakes. Just to talk, so fall now they know skill the buck. Niggas not hot. Keep on your jacket, man's not hot. I am the actor, the rest and a stunt. The thing goes pop. Was on a bunch and they made a lunch.
Don't want to lock, but I still did knock. They keep me out, said no why. Cause when I enter Tangangeto, iti Tangangeto,
Yeah, this is the reason I keep pushing hard on this steep mountain. I'm climbing steady, cause on top me success ready. Papa God no go look hype on me, so you keep you listening. I'm chasing the Grammys, I'm chasing the Emmys. I deserve to dream big, no it's not the Henny talking. I came from the bottom, I am the chosen one, it's not random. Work hard for this, so miss me at this. The bullshit you talking will see my fist. When I get passionate, my thoughts cloudy. I don't think twice, my team just get rowdy. Menace, I'm a general, wherever I'm a one-man gang. I tie rope, I tap tick, Uda one end.
don't want to lock, but I still did knock. They keep me out, said no why. Cause when I enter Tangangeto, iti Tangangeto, iti.
nothing and become something, and now that something is what we want to capitalize on to become everything. Because at the end of the day, spreading your wings to fly to reach new heights is all we got. We call it dreams. We go to sleep at night with this notion, and we wake up with this intensified passion to become something, something from nothing, from nothing.
Welcome back to Become Something from Nothing. That is our guest of honor, one of his songs. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, please help me welcome the man, the artist, the legend, all the way from Sierra Leone. Well, actually, from Virginia, right? The man himself, MDG. What's up, brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, brother. How are you?
Doing well. I'm doing well. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the
Thank
show.
you.
We're
Thank
excited
you.
to
Thank
have
you.
you, and it's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you. And I hope that you're going to enjoy this as much as I am hoping to enjoy this. So
Definitely.
I was, you're from Sierra Leone, right? That is not far from Guinea. So we do have something in common there. So this is going to go great.
That's
This is
right.
going to
That's
go
right.
great. So we're gonna mix some patois, some French, some whatever, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, then let's get right into it. What who is MDG? I know you said it's MDG means menace to the general, but
Yeah.
your own
So,
world,
so Yeah, so MDG is just a all around artist, musician, songwriter, just a creative mind from Sierra Leone. Been doing it for years, anything that encompasses creativity, it's MDG.
all
So
right,
yeah, so it's just another creative mind from the coast, man, from the motherland.
all right. Another
Yeah,
creative mind from the coast. I like it. I like it.
yeah, yeah.
I gotta ask you about back home, as it is our custom here. We
Right,
always like to get the perspective from where we're from and now living in the state.
right.
What is your earliest childhood memory of Sierra Leone?
Oh man, a whole lot. I left home, when I was old enough to remember a lot of things. So friends, family, school, where it all began, where it all started with music, my influences, the good thing is I get to go back every now and then, and
Nice.
yeah, so I'm still deeply connected, with home. It never really left. I mean, I do reside in America, but my heart, soul, body, mind, everything is still back home, intact, so yeah, yeah.
I hear you. I
Mhm.
hear you. That is beautiful.
Right,
It's always sometimes a challenge though, living in the U.S. and still keeping that that umbilical cord with the motherland, right? Uh,
right,
you know,
right,
we talk a little bit about your childhood memories back in Sierra Leone. How
right.
do you draw, or do you draw anything from that period? To your from there to your music and how you compose and how you think about music and all of that.
It deeply influenced what I do. My music actually originated, based from my roots, back home, coming from a third world, underdeveloped nation, like Sierra Leone, but very beautiful as well, That's where it all stems from, So my sound is it's a blend of, it's a little bit of everything that I do.
Gotcha.
I have the dance part of my music, which depicts, the happiness, the happy vibe of Sierra Leoneans, and then I have the storytelling part of my music, which depicts my reality, our reality, the struggle, the
Right.
everyday life of the people, what we've been through and what we're going through, or whatnot. Because at the end of the day, as an artist, I believe my role here is to not just entertain, but also to be the voice, of the voiceless. So yeah, so home really defines what I do in total.
That, that is I mean that is fantastic. And
Yes, sir.
you and I both are aware of, and I think it's a known fact, right?
Yeah,
Sierra Leone and Liberia went through a horrible, horrible civil
yeah,
war,
Civil War. Yeah,
and you were 3 years old when the civil war began,
right.
and 13 years old when it ended. So that is 10 years of atrocity and countless people that died.
Oh yeah.
Um, what was it like for you growing up in Sierra Leone during the civil war?
So with the Civil War, I would say I only witnessed the last 2 years of it. That's when I really felt what war was like, and I hope and pray for not even my enemy to go through that, and I hope for a peaceful Africa because it really, just reflecting on the past, even as a child then. There are things that still haunt you,
Mhm.
luckily for me, one of the things that I was blessed for was I did have family there that lived in Guinea, neighboring country, your home. And
Yeah,
and and thank you, my Guinean family, for
you
embracing us.
people.
And so yeah, we seeked refuge in Guinea and it became my second home. And I lived in Guinea for about 2 years,
Okay.
before coming to the States. So yeah, so like I say, I was blessed not to, have gotten cut up, but I did witness a part of what was going on in my country that was very devastating that I wish not to ever happen again.
Right.
Not in any parts of the world, period.
Right.
War is not something that and it's crazy how now I'm here in the States and I see people that talk about violence like and I'm sitting there telling them like I've been through
Right.
war and I know what it's like, so
Right.
that's not something you should, yeah, it's not something to celebrate. So but
Yeah.
yeah, so it's
Yeah.
not
I
it's
mean,
not
definitely, definitely, and the some of the stories that we hear from that war was a lot of kids were enrolled as warriors, and they
yeah,
were
child soldiers, yeah,
and as a child yourself going through that period, I
right,
am very happy that you didn't get involved or mixed up in something like that.
oh
So
yeah,
we thank the Lord for you being here, and also
that's
being
right.
have family back in Guinea. So where in Guinea did you live?
So I lived in two different areas. So there was Amdalai and
I'm
Tawia. Yeah, I
okay.
know, so I
So they
lived in
still not far
Tawia.
from each other.
Yeah. So in
Okay.
the first part of my stay was in Amdalai, and then the latter part of my stay in Guinea was in Tawia. And I still remember vividly. Oh man, growing up in Guinea, um, but yeah, but it was just a refuge, just a safe haven for me and my family. And like I say again, I'm just, truly blessed, to have been away from because at the end of before the end of the war was the worst part of it,
Yes.
everything else that the world saw that happened to Sierra Leone, especially the capital of Freetown,
Right.
J6, what we call it, may the souls of those, our dearly departed brothers and sisters rest in peace,
And
yeah, so it was pretty sad, just being there and just being hopeless, not being able to help or do anything, those things, it shaped you as a human being. So growing up, I've always made it a must and a part of me to just, stay on the positive side of life and just try to make, bring forth as much peace message as I can, to my fellow humans, not just, uh, Sierra Leoneans, but the entire world.
that is
Yeah.
fantastic. That is a beautiful way to put it. So,
Yes, sir.
you lived in Guinea. I mean, you lived in Sierra Leone, and then because of war, you had to go to Guinea. And I think, as you mentioned rightly, so those experiences, even at the young age, have to
Yeah.
shape who you become in the later part of your life.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: how did that whole experience now? How does it shape your love for music?
Oh man, and very much so. It's very immense. It has a lot to do with my music, to be honest with you. Because there's still the effect of war in
Right.
Sierra Leone. There's still an after effect. I mean, we went through a 10-year period of devastation. So, carnage, that's not just going to wipe away overnight,
Right.
So, it does shape my music. Besides music, I'm a huge humanitarian. Every now and then I go home, I do a lot of humanitarian work, and just to help give back to my community,
Right.
whether through knowledge, whatever it is, whether through civic, it's my civic duty, honestly, just to give back to my people, and just reminding them of what we've been through, and for that not to ever repeat again. And it's even depicted in my music. Every now and then I'll do a song that has to do with humanity, and bringing people together, and just us getting along, and even when it comes to governance and government,
Right.
I'm constantly, I'm a huge advocate, for better change, so yeah, it has a lot to do with my music, I just feel like it's my duty as an artist.
Fantastic. I mean, it looks like it's not just with your music, it's also your outlook about life, how life
Right,
should be and how we should treat each other. And,
right,
for somebody that has not been in that situation, I have to commend you and really, tip my hat for you for still being resilient after
yes
going
sir,
through such an atrocity. And at a young age where we don't get to decide really what happens to us, but adults, do
exactly,
for us. But
right.
despite all of that, has there been any type of positivity out of that experience that, at the young age you face such an adversity? What kind of positivity you take from that experience, if there are any?
Um, a whole lot, especially migrating to the States. It helped me grow up faster as a child, as a kid, because I've seen it all. I grew up, in the roughs of Sierra Leone. So it helps shapes you as a man, and the positive thing that I take out of it is, just remember where you come from. Once you remember where you come from, there's always an easier route to your final destination. That's the way I look at it. So with everything that I do today, it's a reflection of my past. My the troubles and struggles of my people. So it helps me a whole lot. And like I say, there's no good thing that comes out of war,
Right.
but it will help shape you as a human being. So looking back, I just want to be a peaceful person, and just a pacifist, if I may say, someone that's just, yeah, just, make the world a better place. That's all it is, man. Yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think that that is something that we can all strive for: make a world
right,
a better place, make our motherland a better place, and hopefully never, never again we have wars like that. So
exactly.
how did you end up in the state? How did you end up in the United States?
So first generation of my family, I want to say, started migrating to the States in the, I want to say, late 70s, early 80s, So my mom was already in the States before I came. My bunch of uncles and aunties were already here. So they had filed for us, right in the middle of the war. So yeah, so God's so good, right in, like I say, in the middle of it, we migrated to Guinea, and through all that, they fast tracked the process, and I'm just thankful that we made it. Almost my entire family, well, not in my entire family, from my mom's side of the family, my grandma, bunch of cousins, we all made it out safely, and yeah, so we're here today, and the States has been home away from home for the past 20 years now, and I'm grateful, just thankful, for being here, man. Yeah.
Fantastic, and we're thankful that you're here and that having
Yeah,
a conversation with. I mean, I have so many friends from Sierra Leone and Liberia that have gone through the same trauma, but
right,
it's never easy to understand what they went through. And
right,
I was a young kid back then in Guinea, and I always thought it would have been hard to imagine being somewhere where you don't know the culture, you don't know the people, and sometimes you don't even speak the language, right?
Right.
So all of that, it's always a hard transition to go from, even if we are bordering countries or not, right? But
Hmm.
how was it like coming from all of that? So you have Sierra Leone, you have Guinea, and then the US. How was the transition like for you, brother?
Oh man, it was tough. It was quite rough, assimilating to a new culture. By the way, is my camera good now? Because I just did turn in landscape. I hope it's
Yeah, it is. It is. It is good. It is good. We can still see your face.
okay. Okay,
There
cool. I
you
just
go. Yeah, this is even that was even much better. Up a
it's
little bit.
much better, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just put it up a little bit.
because I realized you're on landscape, so I'm like, yeah, maybe I should switch mine so we're on the same
But you
page
were you
now.
were you were fine before. You were fine before. You were fine
So
before.
switch it back to what it was before. Is
No,
that
it doesn't
better?
matter, man. Whichever way. I personally, I think this is perfect.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
so back to migrating to the States. It wasn't easy, as a child trying to assimilate to a new culture, something that's totally different from yours. It was pretty rough, but again, the good thing is, I do live in the DMV, which has quite a large community of Sierra Leoneans. It's quite dense. So you don't feel much. You do feel home. You do feel at home because, like I say again, I still grew up with my fellow Sierra Leonean brothers and sisters. You know, but over time, like I say, it's good as a child. We have, you have time to grow. School helps a whole lot.
Right.
Make friends and music huge. I think music has always been a savior. Music has always been that outlet that let me be me. So through that I made friends. And then I love arts as well. My arts and my music, I guess, helped me, and sports, those three things. So, but it wasn't an easy task at first, but over time you get used to it. Like I say, as a child, you blend in.
Right.
And mind you, this was during the era, when it was hard for you to say, I'm African, coming to a
Right.
different country where
Right. Right.
English
Right.
is not even your first language, and so you're being picked upon,
Hmm.
every
Hmm.
now and then. So
Right.
it wasn't easy at all, but again, like I say, I thank God, over time, you know, the diversity in this community, especially the DMV,
Right.
helped a whole lot. It got to the point
Fantastic.
where now you can come from any parts of the world and be respected for who you are,
Right. Right.
and then, yeah, but over time, it became better, and now it's much easier. And I tell my cousins and them family members that come here now all the time, like, hey, you have it easy now. What we
Easy.
went through was pretty
Absolutely.
rough.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, it's always a challenge. I mean, and for those of you guys that came way earlier than us, it
Oh yeah,
was
yeah,
where
yeah,
we have established some type of identity,
yeah,
and especially in your case, coming from all the trouble that you had to live through
yeah.
back home, and now finding yourself. Now, speaking about some of these challenges, what were some of the most challenging obstacle you have had to overcome in your journey so far?
Here in the States,
Well, I mean, in general, I mean,
well, in general, well, for the most part, I've lived most of my adult life here, so I'll have more to say about here in America than back home.
okay,
Um, I've like again, I feel blessed, to have a good family, a good support system. Even with my music, I feel blessed to have good friends around me. So my struggle, probably I would say, only has to do with the basic and normal things of life that people go through. Normal stresses, not anything too extreme.
yeah, got it.
Yeah. So and I do thank God for that. Again, music has always been that outlet. When I do feel stress or when I do feel down,
Hmm.
music was that go to for me, and
Right.
sports as well. But
Right.
I don't think I have a lot of struggles that I would say I went through, well, again, except, for the assimilation to the culture,
Right.
the language barrier. But again, I grew up with a bunch of Africans, so I didn't
Right.
feel it too much. If I try to talk to my black friends or white friends and they don't understand me, hey, I switch to my African brothers.
Yes. Yes.
So hey, make it
Yes.
easy. Yeah, it makes
Yes.
life it made life very easy for me. But other than that, I've had a pretty fun life here. And I'm always grateful. I'm always grateful. And there's always new challenges.
Right.
Me being an underground artist, maybe it's very tough. A lot of people don't know that. They see the finished product of what we put out, but they
Hmm.
don't understand that being well, I wouldn't say underground, independent, because I've been doing music professionally for a long time. Being an independent artist, doing everything yourself, it's really not easy. So
Right.
that's pretty much about, yeah. And
Fantastic. So, I mean, Menace de Général, what is your real name? If you
so
don't
real
mind.
name is Dennis, first name Dennis, last name Bundu.
Dennis
Yeah.
Bondo.
And I like how you pronounce that, Menas de General. That's the
Well,
real French way of
Menace de
pronouncing
Général, and you see the French in it a little bit, right?
it. Yeah. You add in a little bit of authority to it. It
Well,
sounds
you
like a
got
real
to. I mean,
general.
we're talking about a general, Menace
Yes,
de
sir.
Général,
Yes, sir.
So you talked about moving to the U.S. and settling down in the DMV, which is the D.C.,
Right.
Maryland, and Virginia. Uh, how has that area changed your music, or has it had any impact on how you think about music, or has it been inspirational for you at all?
Um, Somewhat, yes. But again, my biggest impact did not come from the States, because
Okay.
I've been doing music since back home when I was a child. Not professionally, obviously, but my biggest influence started from back home. Growing up listening to reggae music, growing up listening to pop music, growing up listening to hip hop. But it was all back home. That's where the journey of my musical career started, as a child. You
Nice.
know, um, I remember my first songwriting came from. Actually, I was living in Guinea. Yeah, so
Well, you were
yeah,
living in Guinea, in Tawia
yeah,
and
that's
Thunder Life.
that's the time I wrote. Yeah, I wrote my first song.
Well,
You know.
hold that thought. Hold that thought, because our next section, our next segment, we're going to be talking specifically about your music. So
Okay,
don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with
for
Menace
sure.
General. He is our guest of honor today on the show Columbus African Spotlight, talking about the Columbus African Festival coming up this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Okay, that's right. That's right. Check it. Yo, I gotta speak the truth and tell you how I feel. Cause if I don't, then I'm lying to myself, and that's kinda cruel. You're like my role model. You're my best friend, admire everything you do. You are like a godsend. We've been through the wars, through the rough seas. You taught me how to be a man and keep my head above water. Yeah, I could've drowned, but you held on tight and told me you would never let me go out of your sight. But now you're losing me. I see us fading beat, and I just hope my warrior is not giving up on me. Man, you're too good for that, cause you was built for tough, and trust me, I know, cause one heart is out, we'll both connect. Man, I just hope that one day the world will see you for who you are, beside this pictures painted upon the wall. I know it hurts cause you're a man of integrity, a man of humanity. I've known you all my life, B. If they ain't proud of you, homie, I'm proud of you. If they ain't fucking with you, homie, I got your back. Fight it, why don't ya? Fight it, why don't ya? Do it for the love of me, now fight it, why don't ya? It's kinda rough when you try to sleep at night. I know it hurts cause I feel the pain. That's right. Just let it out, you can lean on me, and I will surely wipe the tears off my face for you. Yeah, it's kinda hard when you're screaming, but nobody really hearing. Man, that feeling isn't feeling when your lyrics they be craving, but you feel like you be choking on your words nowadays. Goddamn, this is what they're missing. Man, I just hope that one day the world will see you for who you are. Beside this pictures painted up on the wall. I know it hurts cause you're a man of integrity, a man of humanity. I've known you all my life, B. If they ain't proud of you, homie, I'm proud of you. If they ain't fucking with you, homie, I got your back. Fight it, why don't ya? Fight it, why don't ya? Do it for the love of me. Now fight it, why don't ya? One word to describe you, persevered, well prepared. Never at any given time was just scared. Cause you're a real guy, never will your real die. You was born to lead the fleet, man, I'm talking real fly. You raised the bar like them airmen, real high. Even when they told you it's impossible, you still try. Cause you a crow named Russell with a beautiful mind. So fuck what you heard, to this letter I reply. Dear man, it's Mr. General, I love you to the end of me. So please don't you give up on my enemies. I mean our enemies. We made a pact, remember? I thank you for your love and patience, but you gotta be here. Please Socrates, Plato needs a mentor. I gotta unlock many secrets of my past and my ancestors. Together we shall put them to shame and make them bow. And I ain't talking about tomorrow, cause I need you right about now.
Mirrors on the wall, here we are again. Through my rise and fall, you've been my only friend. You told me that they can't understand the man I am. So why are we here, talking to each other again?
Man, I just hope that one day the world will see you for who you are. Beside this pictures painted up on the wall. I know it hurts cause you're a man of integrity, a man of humanity. I've known you all my life, B. If they ain't proud of you, homie, I'm proud of you. If they ain't fucking with you, homie, I got your back. Fight it, why don't ya? Fight it, why don't ya? Do it for the love of me. Now fight it, why don't ya? Huh?
All right, welcome back. Welcome back. We are back live in another episode of Columbus African Highlights. And today we have the honor to have MDG all the way from Sierra Leone living in the DMV area. We've been talking about the historic of MDG's music or his life. Now we're going to go into his music and what are some of the things that make this artist so great and that inspire him. So let's get right into it. Welcome back, Mr. MDG,
Sir.
Mr. Dennis. What should I call you? I like your last name, man. I do.
Bundu, yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's a cool last name.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is a cool
What
last name.
whatever suits you, man.
Now,
Dennis,
but we're going to go to
MDG.
Dennis to the General. We're gonna
I
go.
like that.
Yes, let's do that. So now we're going to talk about your music. You were talking about it earlier before we went to break.
Right.
Who were some of your early influences in terms of
So,
music?
yeah, so I grew up, well, you can probably see it from my music. I'm very extremely versatile, and there's a reason for that. Because I grew up, I was introduced to a lot of different sounds. Because that's one thing about Sierra Leone. Growing up, we didn't just listen to just Sierra Leonean music. Any parts of Africa or any other parts of the world with a music that has a vibe to it,
Yeah.
but we listen to it. So I grew up listening to reggae music. I was influenced by Bob Marley, huge. Pop music at the time, Michael Jackson, huge. And then came hip hop. We have the Nas, the Jay-Z, Biggie, Tupac, huge. You know. So And then obviously, I would definitely have to give credits to my fellow Sierra Leonean legends, back home, like the Pupa Baja, who one of the greatest Creole lyricists, and many others, that actually started, introducing Sierra Leone music to the world, and doing their thing. So that's where my sound emerged from, all this fuse of different sounds, because I'm just one of those artists that don't believe that you have to be one dimensional. I believe that when you're an artist, you have to have an open mind. You got to be extremely creative. So that's why I tap into different sounds. Sometimes it's a gift and a curse, because there are times when I'm doing one type of sound, and
Right.
then I would just, I would leave it unfinished and jump to another one. And then now I'm stuck between the two. Like, okay, what should I go with this time? And then I will introduce an Afro. Like right now, I'll have an Afrobeat song that drops, and people will go, "Oh, that's dope," and they're expecting another one.
Right.
But then
Right.
what I give them next is totally different from that. But I love that about me. I love the challenges. I love experimenting, and but yeah, it's just the influence from the different genre of music that I grew up listening to. That's pretty much where it came from. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
definitely. And then you can definitely hear the versatility in your music and how
yeah, yeah.
together. I think it has this beautiful melange that just give you a very
Right.
inspiring, way, of putting words together, and even when listening to it, you know.
Hmm.
So continuing on, when creating, because you talked about being here and there, but when creating that type of blend of sound, what
Hmm.
factors play into setting apart your tracks? What is it
Um,
that helps you say, you know what, I'm going to just stay here?
yeah, so it goes back again to my roots, who I am as a person, as Sierra Leonean, not only wanting to leave a footprint in the entertainment industry, but to make leave a positive mark in this world. So it always starts with that, like, being a man of integrity, like, okay, what do I want to depict? What do I want to leave behind? Because this life, every single day, we leave footprints. So it always, my songwriting always starts with that. Whether it's a dance music, whether it's inspirational type of sound. It starts with, okay, what do I want to live behind.
Right.
So yeah, so that's where it comes from. That's where my inspiration always comes from. And
Fantastic.
yeah, so it's always a blend of my background and then my current situation, my experiences. Oh, I
Right.
love that video. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, we can see you all have a whole general type of crown.
general. Yeah, yeah. Oh, actually, that's a French challenge right there. Qui va être le roi? Yeah,
Oh wow, yes, and you have a
yeah. Qui va être le roi? Yeah,
very cool, very, very cool,
yeah.
very
Who
cool.
wants to be king? Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And
So,
it's
speaking of your sounds, what type of sound do you strive for with your own blend of Afrobeat, hip hop, R&B, along with other, musical influences? What type of sound do you strive for?
um. Well, again. It's hard to just pinpoint. A lot of people have a tough time with that, but over time they grew to MDG. They grow into me, like, okay, just expect the unexpected when you're dealing with him. Like like he's just this eclectic minded human being that's just, three-dimensional. He's not thinking one-sided.
Right.
So I don't think anything that I'm doing is new, because with music it's been here. With arts it's always just, where it's going in cycle. It's like we're recycling what's been done in the past, and we're bringing it back to the present, and it's just going in this circle. um Again, I just want to play my role and contribute as much as I can. That's why I tap into different genre. Except obviously, if I can't do it, I'm not gonna sit here and start singing opera. That's not my field. Yeah,
that,
because I don't have
that
the
would be
voice
kind of
for it.
cool, though. That would be
Yeah.
kind
Oh
of
no, I'm
cool.
saying I love it. I love it, but I don't have the skill set for it. You
I hear
know,
you. I
I
hear
love
you.
like the good thing about me. I don't discriminate when it comes to sound.
Okay.
It's crazy. When I was living in Guinea, right, I was hooked onto French rap,
Oh,
I can barely understand what they were saying, but I was hooked onto it.
right,
And then
right.
I started and the one thing I loved about Guinea, that Guinea was a very patriotic nation when it comes to entertainment, right?
Yes,
um they played at the time over 95% of what I heard on the radio and in clubs was French music. So
yes.
regardless whether you like it or not, you're gonna hear
That's
it,
what
you're
you
gonna
get.
listen to, you know whether it's Madingo, Fula,
Right,
Soso,
right,
you're gonna hear some type of Guinean sound.
right.
um so yeah, so I was influenced by, to that as well, and I love that about Guineans.
Yeah, beautiful,
um
beautiful,
yeah.
beautiful, beautiful. So, I really, I really admire the versatility and even the not being boxed in into some type of genre or whatnot.
Right.
The fact that you can you have this one can call a musical diversity but still be able to pass your message across. I think it's beautiful, and it's a beautiful thing and very artistic. So I
Right.
mean, are there certain messages or theme that are important to emphasize through your music today, um, but that
Uh,
are that could be inspired by coming of age moment like living in Sierra Leone?
Very, very, very good question. Now, then I start identifying my sound with this question that you just asked. That's when you get me to actually say, okay, well, this is what I want to do. And that, to answer that question, it has to do with the positive message. You know, making sure as an artist I will be remembered as one of those artists that, whose mark was not just in the clubs, but whose mark was would help inspire, kids in Africa, you
Right,
know. And so that's where I come in, where I would say, oh, majority of what I do is a positive, I'm more of an inspirational artist, like
right,
what's on the screen right now. So that's more of Menace the General. That's more of my dearest gift.
mm,
That's the guy that I see myself 20 years from now appreciating way more than the other guys. I love them, because
right,
I have different, um, 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 sides to this artistry, but that
right.
guy is who I always, put forward, when it comes to, okay, what do you do as an artist? What mark do you want to live?
Gotcha.
You want to leave behind. So yeah, it's the positive message and making the world a better place, period.
Fantastic.
Because we're on a journey, and
Yeah,
you want to make sure you play your role, and that's, for me, that's the purpose of life. How can you make the life of another person better, whether it's through
yeah,
your music, whether it's through your sound, whether it's
right.
through giving back to the community? No matter what it is, I just want to play my role as someone that gives back, period. And
Yeah, but yeah, and you're doing it beautifully, brother. Your sound, your music, it's
yeah,
very beautiful, inspirational. So, can you tell us about a particular event or song that
yeah,
define that uniqueness
yeah.
about your music?
So I have a lot of them, but since you just uh um showed on the screen the I believe. I believe that's the name of the record. So I believe is definitely one of my favorites. And I have, like I say again, a bunch of those type of records that I feel like, I'm playing my part as a human on this planet. Because I always tell people, like, for me, I feel like I'm a citizen of the earth, not just a Sierra Leonean. So when I do my music, I hope it touches lives all across the world, not
Mm,
just, again, boxed in.
right.
So that's one of my songs that was featured on BET Africa, and that was very huge for me. I think that's one of the highlights of my career.
Nice.
It wasn't the first. That I've had many other highlights that really made me feel proud of myself, and made me feel fulfilled. And so I believe was featured on it's a virtual concert that they did during COVID, and it was hosted by the United Nations, and they did it was called the Africa Rise, you know. So I was picked to be one of the performers, and it left a lasting impression on these people, and they up to this day they really do appreciate it. And it was actually chosen to be the opening act for the entire program. I was just what was supposed to be just a 5 minutes act turned out to be over 10 minutes, and I did an entire dialogue. So it was beautiful.
That's
And they just embraced the message.
and
Africa, because the concert itself was Africa Rise, and I'm like,
right.
what better way to represent Africa than inspiring the kids, and showing
Yeah,
that you
absolutely.
can do whatever in this world, you can achieve whatever in this world if you can, but first you have to believe. So yeah,
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely. That is beautiful, and much kudos to you for all of
for
that,
sure, for
because
sure.
now my next question has to do with the how big you are basically. I mean, you have
Yeah,
opened for big artists like Flavor, P Square, and which is
yes
a
sir,
clear statement of the richness of your music.
yes
What
sir.
is, but you tell us a little bit. What is it like sharing the stage with
The
those big
stage.
names, and what do you make of the growth of African music or genre globally, including Afrobeat, Amapiano, and the rest?
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to say, kudos to those guys, and especially, the Afrobeat and how huge it has influenced the world. Because back to what we were talking about when we started this interview, our dialogue was about how, the assimilation to the culture growing up, right? So I remember days and times when I can barely say that I'm an African artist. I was afraid to even sing or rap in front of anyone in
Hmm.
America.
Yeah,
I was only comfortable to do so amongst my African friends. You
right.
understand? So to now, fast forward 15, 20 years later, I'm opening up on one of the biggest stages in the DMV and across, the states and even, overseas. It's a blessing, and that's how far African music has come. And the funny thing is, it has always had substance and been great. It was just a matter of time. So it's a blessing, opening up for all these great guys, these talented artists, mad respect and love for every single one of them. And again, we're just hoping and praying that, some of the African countries can get they're turning this beautiful wave that's flowing right now.
Right,
And
right.
that's why one of my things that I do is advocate heavy when it comes to Sierra Leone music, because the talent is there.
Hmm.
MDG is just another representation of what's being nurtured in Sierra Leone.
Right,
So
right.
we just constantly telling those people like, hey, if you're out there in Sierra Leone, you invest into entertainment, because this is the time. If there's any other time that you want to tap into the music industry, this is it.
Yeah,
We have artists like Burna Boy, shutting down the entire New York, Madison
right,
Square Garden, packing it
right,
out,
right.
as opposed to before when you can't even walk down the street and sing in your language so yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
so it's a beautiful thing to experience.
yeah.
And I'm just glad that I'm a part of it. Playing my own role. It's been a wonderful journey. Not an easy one. I
Right.
tell people all the time. And with passion, courage, and hard work, you get there eventually. So that's the journey that I'm still on. And again, thank you guys for having me too on this wonderful event. That's
Yeah, the pleasure
yeah,
is
it's coming
ours.
up.
I mean, you are blessing
Yeah,
us with some words of wisdom, and also
yes, sir.
just everything about your music. It's very inside. It just makes you want to listen even more. And then it's just like the general, Minas General. It doesn't give you a lot. It gives you some to want more. I gotta say
Yeah,
that is beautiful. But
yes, sir.
before we go on our second break, I do
Yeah.
have this question, um, and talking about African music. What are some ways that you have seen Afrobeat symbolize, for instance, strength, resilience, through lyrics, message, or style today?
Um, you just mentioned it. That's pretty much what Afrobeat is. It's the perseverance to prove to the world that you can do it. And if that doesn't inspire you as an African, I don't know what else is. Because
Yes.
music is an international. It's it's just a global language, you know. Now we see, like here in the States, I go to the clubs and I see, people of all colors, bumping to African music. That's
Right,
how
right.
powerful music
Yes,
is.
yes,
Music
yes.
unites,
Right.
music brings people together,
Yeah,
and so does sports, entertainment period,
yeah,
so it's a beautiful thing to be a part of that family, so that's why I'm constantly here just playing my role, trying to contribute, and so Afrobeat definitely, like I say, has my respect. It's inspiring every single one of us, though I've been in the game for a long time. But it's
yes.
just a beautiful thing to see how, my brothers from all parts, Nigeria, Ghana,
Right,
South Africa, Tanzania,
right.
oh man, it's a beautiful thing,
Yes,
every
yes.
every other weekend there's a big concert in DC. I see my brothers coming in,
Right,
packing
right,
shows,
right.
and it's just not, it's a diverse crowd,
Mm,
it's not just one-sided, just African people anymore. It's a diverse crowd,
diverse. Right,
huge,
right,
going there to show support, embracing the sound,
right.
so again, I'm constantly being inspired, and it motivates me to keep striving for excellence, playing my part, you know yeah, so
That
that's all.
that is
Yeah,
beautiful, man. That is beautiful. So we're going to take our second break before we try to wrap this conversation dialogue
for
that I'm
sure.
enjoying so much with my brother here, MDG.
Yes, sir.
So don't go anywhere. We shall be right back.
Yeah.
Ten hey. Fire up on the mountain. Bad man thing, what I say. Rose and other men can contest. They be on my post to see if I receive the thorn or the rose. See, I grind for the mullah daily, head to the sky, rising above all the odds while they praying to see me fall. Blessings come from above, all you can do is delay it. Hey, when the time is right, you will see that you cannot deny it. Bubba, see them, watch them, 24 carats, look am, call it, watch me, ibam, Ponesta tried it. Bad man rise, bad man shine. Even when they say bad man can't win, bad man a thriller, bad man a boss. Everywhere I step, bad man come first. Bad man a warrior. Everywhere bad man go, bad man rule. Bad man a warrior. Everywhere bad man go, bad man rule. Hey. Back and forth, I don't go if you were vibrating low. Bad man a care, whether you hate, I take application for fools. They ostracize me for a mind of my own. I never conform to their bullshit. I told them before, I'm a one-man gang. I'm content to mine and Jah got me. Gone are the days when I give two fucks. Gone are the days when I care about them. Gone are the days when you trigger my rage. When I'm chilling on a new page. Baba, sit down, watch 'em. 24 carats, look 'em. Call it, watch me, ibam. Ponesta tried it. Bad man rise, bad man shine. Even when they say bad man can't win. Bad man a thriller, bad man a boss. Everywhere I step, bad man come first. Bad man a warrior. Everywhere bad man go, bad man rule. Bad man a warrior. Everywhere bad man go, bad man rule. Hey. Miracles happen, I guess it's overnight. When I was putting in that work, we call it overtime. 3 in the morning, you was sleeping, I was sewing, getting it in like Jack, now I'm ripping. Taking what I own, taking what I grind for, I stand for. Reality is all up on my platform. This is what I live for, trekking to my destination. Haters, you can kiss my black ass, and that's tenfold. I hope you get the memo from my vuvuzela. I'm chopping hands with the blaze of my propeller. And I can make a hit without no sound, no beat. Acapella. Bad man rise, bad man shine. Even when they say bad man can't win. Bad man a thriller, bad man a boss. Everywhere I step, bad man come first. Bad man a warrior. Everywhere bad man go, bad man rule. Bad man a warrior. Everywhere bad man go, bad man rule. Hey. 5 pound, baby, you got it all. Running back, looking like we should unzip and have a ball. We're grown and we can do it all. Baby, let's turn up the heat like summertime, even though it's fall. 5 pound, baby, you got it all. Running back, looking like we should unzip and have a ball. Have a ball. Hey, have a ball.
And no one play, and no one whine, and no one kind for me. If you're there smiling, looking blind, and no one suck the Gary. Anytime you come around, you cover up the goodies. Baby, don't you think it's time to give it up and get loose? Baby, I'm hot for your body, you motivate me, I'm looking up to your body. Girl, we can put the Pilates, sensing on the bed, I can teach you karate. Baby girl, you're too fun and I don't wanna waste time today. Girl, we can break all the rules, you grown and you sexy. Hey. Girl, we skip the formality. Baby girl, we skip the formality. Girl, we skip the formality. And time me baby, go and show me your quality. Girl, we skip the formality. Come near me, show me your bad personality. Girl, we skip the formality. And time me baby, go and show me your quality. What now, baby, what now? Now I don't cook, I don't clean, what's next now? Bird box on Netflix, we don't chill now. Can we cut out the lights and slow it down? We can slow it down, baby, slow it down. And we can do it fast on the second round. But first we gotta take it all off, why wait? Let us collaborate, yeah. Baby, I'm hot for your body, you motivate me, I'm looking up to your body. Girl, we can put the Pilates, sensing on the bed, I can teach you karate. Baby girl, you're too fun and I don't wanna waste time today. Girl, we can break all the rules, you grown and you're sexy. Hey. Girl, we skip the formality. Baby girl, we skip the formality. Girl, we skip the formality. And time me baby, go and show me your quality. Girl, we skip the formality. Come near me, show me your bad personality. Girl, we skip the formality. And time me baby, go and show me your quality. Girl, I can take it slow, but I've been waiting on this corner for way too long. Girl, it's a mutual attraction, the chemistry we got, girl, is way too strong. Baby, let's reciprocate, you can do me, I do you, and nothing wrong. What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? Yeah. Baby, I'm hot for your body, you motivate me, I'm looking up to your body. Girl, we can put the Pilates, sensing on the bed, I can teach you karate. Baby girl, you're too fun and I don't wanna waste time today. Girl, we can break all the rules, you grown and you're sexy. Hey. Girl, we skip the formality. Baby girl, we skip the formality. Girl, we skip the formality. And time me baby, go and show me your quality. Girl, we skip the formality. Come near me, show me your bad personality. Girl, we skip the formality. And time me baby, go and show me your quality.
5 pound, baby, you got it all. Running back, looking like we should unzip and have a ball. We're grown and we can do it all. Baby, let's turn up the heat like summertime, even though it's fall. 5 pound, baby, you got it all. Running back, looking like we should unzip and have a ball. Let's have a ball. Would you have a ball?
All right. That was Formality from MDG. Menace the General. Welcome back. This is another show of the Columbus African Spotlight with your host Mustafa Bayo, and we're talking about talking about the Columbus African Festival that is happening this Saturday and Sunday, July 29th and July 30th at Genoa Park, downtown Columbus. You don't want to miss it. Bring your family. It's a family-oriented event. It is free. Come and enjoy African culture at its finest in Columbus. It's a way of showcasing our culture away from home here in the United States, here in Columbus. So we are back on with our main guy, our inspiring artist, MDG, Menace General. There he is.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
brother. Welcome back again. Thank you for staying with us, and to our audience, thank you for
My
being here.
pleasure.
So Minister General MDG. I don't know. I like all of it. Is something else, man.
Yeah.
We've spoken about your origin. We've spoken about your music. Now it's time to look forward to the future, right? And and the reason why we are here today is to, is to showcase some of the that you're going to be part of the Columbus African Festival that is taking place this Saturday and Sunday at Genoa Park.
Yeah.
How do you feel about being featured on stage at the Columbus African Festival today? I mean, this weekend.
Oh man, I'm definitely honored. It's a beautiful thing, to be a part of. Because I've actually heard of the Columbus African Festival. I think about 2 or 3 years back. Because few of my brothers have actually been a part of it before. So being a part of it this year, it's a blessing. And shout out, by the way, to my big brother Eugene. Brother Eugene, had hit me up like, yo, we need to bring you to Columbus, and
Yes.
fast forward, it's we're here now. So it's a blessing, and I do appreciate what you guys are doing, showcasing African culture and artistry, So yeah, I look forward to it, hopefully you guys should probably bring it to the DMV as well, yeah.
Well, you never know. You never
You
know.
never know, you never know.
We're trying to, Africanism, African, everything African is taking all over the world. So we want to just
Definitely.
take over Columbus and then make
Yeah,
it the biggest festival in the Midwest.
yeah,
We're coming close to our interview, our dialogue. I call it a dialogue because I feel like I could speak with you for 2 3 hours,
definitely.
but
Yeah,
there's always time constraint, right? So
definitely.
I have two questions before we wrap up. And the one of the question is, are there any specific messages carried across in your songs that resonate with audience regardless of their background from Sierra Leone to DC?
Yeah. So it's two of them. One is about chasing dreams. You hear that a lot in my music. And I'll get to the shirt that I'm wearing, before we wrap up. So one is about chasing dreams and just, giving it your best, and the sky's the limit. And the second part of my music and its messaging is about making the world a better place. Those are two things that I always try to make sure, anyhow, anyway, just, depicting my sound, as an artist, because again, the greats that I looked up to when I was coming up, like the Bob Marley, they left a mark
Right.
that preached those two messages, the Michael Jackson, same messaging like, hey, look, go be great and then heal the world. You know what I mean? Bob
Right.
Marley will give you, you know, um, one love, and then, gives you, every little thing is going to be all right. Those messaging, and up to this day, those are classical sounds that, resonates with the rest of the world and makes it a better place. So with me, it's about, one, being great, and, you know, chasing and achieving your purpose in life. And then while doing so, make the world a better place, which is being peaceful, which is being
Right.
respectful of others, which is uniting, and yeah, just be human. And it's
That,
in the word itself, human. Just be
yeah.
human. That's it.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic. Yeah,
yeah.
fantastic. So the last question before I let you close out. What is the main thing people need to understand about African culture when they hear your music?
Um. So the main the I just believe it's man, when you listen to my sound again, because it's so versatile,
It is indeed.
it all depends on what you're listening to. Like, it's crazy how just now when you was playing my music,
Right.
every song you drop, I'm here bumping to it like I'm a listener. I
Right.
wasn't even
Right.
listening to it like I did the record. I'm just like,
Yes.
okay, so I'm vibing to it. So I just want people, that fans or potential fans, when they hear me, to just understand that this is an individual that, works his butt off to entertain. You know, I give it my all. Music. It's, yes, it's a lifestyle for me. Whether or not, wherever it takes me in the future, it's always gonna be a part of me. I wake up, sleep, eat, drink music. I mean, I do have another part to my life. But music is what defines me. So when
Gotcha.
people do listen to me, I just want them to get that part that says, oh, okay, even if you don't like the sound, respect the artist. He's given it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's given this art his all.
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
believe in being giving, half-assing what I do. I just
Right.
believe in, hey, look, if you're gonna do it right. I'm not the best at what I do, but I'm pretty good at what I do. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. When you listen to me, I just hope you get, if it's not the sound, it's the message. Get something
Right.
out of it. There's always
Absolutely.
something. Or if not that, maybe my performance, maybe my swag on stage.
Yes.
If
Yes.
not, if not that, just me being African or something
Right.
along the line.
Right. 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 Just
So
something. Right. Just
yeah,
something.
something. I try to
Yes.
make sure there's something that I leave behind. It's crazy. Watching this video at this performance right here, I opened up for P Square, and at the end of my performance, I was backstage with them, and I had Nigerian fans that were there coming up to me and taking pictures. So here's what's crazy. They thought I was Nigerian, and I was part of, I'm an opening act that's traveling with them. You know,
Gotcha.
like,
Gotcha.
yo, where's the guy? And then they saw, it's like, so it was, that made me feel good. So it's like, okay, so they love what I did on stage.
Right.
That
Right.
that so I always try to leave that effect. And whether you see me for the first time or you hear me for the first time, I
Yes.
want you to get something out of what I do, and that's why I'm always striving for excellence. Yeah.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, listen,
Mhm.
brother. It was an honor. It was a privilege talking with you, MDG.
Likewise, man,
And
for sure, brother.
we unfortunately have to close the show. I'm going
Yeah,
to let you, close it out with your message, with whatever
for
you want to
sure.
say before we wrap everything up. But again, from my perspective, you are a winner. You already have left. You have left an impression on me, and you're not even performing, so doing anything. So that
Yeah,
is the beauty of who we are as a people, as a person, right?
right.
Please take it away, and this is your time to again emphasize your message or
For
whatever you
sure.
feel that you need people to know before
For sure.
Columbus African Festival.
For sure. Well, first of all, I just want to say thanks to you guys, the entire crew and, organizing team of the Columbus African Festival. It's a beautiful thing, that you guys are doing, and may God continue to bless,
Amen.
your soul and everything that you do. Yeah. Because it's very important, not just for us, but for the next generation. What we're doing here is paving the way for them. And again, I'm happy how we started this dialogue with my roots and me coming to America, and
Right.
how it was hard for us back then, but now look how easy it's becoming. We
Hmm.
opening doors, where our kids, our nieces, nephews can come to these events and say, and being proud of being African. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
it's a beautiful thing. And my message to everyone out there, all race, creed, it doesn't really matter. It's just peace, love, and happiness. Just respect, one another, and just make the world a better place. Period.
Yes.
We are all humans at the end of the day. Again, like I say, I really appreciate how we started. My
Yes.
background coming from a
Yeah.
war-torn country.
Right.
If I don't preach that message now, then what's my purpose in life?
Right.
Because I've
Right.
seen it all. I've been there, done that. So I want to make sure that we carry on this idea of making the world a better place, especially with the technology age that we're in now, social
Mhm.
media.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
see more negativity being spewed and being promoted. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
it's hard to decipher what's good and what's bad.
Right.
And
Right.
it's always the children that gets affected.
Mm.
Because me as a grown up, you as a grown up, you can decipher. What's right from wrong.
Right.
But now we have a next generation that's after us. If they
Mhm.
cannot decipher and figure out what's, then we are doomed.
Right.
So yeah, so I do appreciate the positive spirits. I do appreciate a positive movement. Moving on to my shirt before we close
Yeah,
out.
I was going to ask you about
Yeah, yeah.
it.
So earlier today, when my brother called me, I told him, I said we were working, which is what I left before the interview. We're actually printing this T-shirts. It's my brand. It's called Formula, and what Formula stands for, I don't know if you can see the bottom of
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is Formula. It says passion, courage, and hard work. The hard
Okay.
work is a little, yeah, if I get closer. So it's
Right.
passion, courage, and hard work. So that's pretty much formula. There's a formula to everything in life. You
Mm.
know, The water that we drink, that's synonymous with life. It has a formula to it, which is H2O. You know what I mean? So anything that you do in this life, if you want to become a doctor or lawyer, there's a formula, there's a process. You go to school, you take your bar exam, and you become a lawyer. You want to become a doctor, you go to school, you go to medical school. So there's a process in life. So everyone got to have a formula of some sort to become whatever it is that you want to become successful. And one of the things that you got to have while doing that is passion, courage, and hard work. You got to have passion before you do it. You got to have courage, because along the way there's going to be adversities. There's going to be obstacles, and then at the end of it, you got to work hard. Nothing comes easy. And if you look closely, I got the wings. And this is the logo for Formula. It's right here. It's that's actually. Yeah, that's actually me. It's a silhouette of me when I was back home shooting a video. So the arms spread out is synonymous to just spreading your wings and fly, being you. And that's why we have the wings right here. And then, as you can see, I wanted it to represent fully who I am as a person. You can see the African material right there. And then you can see the musical instruments. These are all African instruments.
That's cool. That is actually very cool. I didn't see those.
Exactly.
That is cool, man. That is cool.
Yep. So where I come from, this is the djembe, this is bata, this is balanji, this is bata, this is shake. It's funny when I say that, but there's another name for it. And then that's an African mask. So yeah, just by looking at my shirt, you can see a whole lot about who the individual is. So and right now we're out. It's been out for it's been a brand of mine for about 2 years now, but we just rebranded it, re-released it on this past Friday, and it's been selling out. I've mailed out to different states, from California to New Jersey to Reading, Pennsylvania, all the way to everywhere, and then people are loving it. And the idea behind it. Yeah.
Fantastic. Again,
and hopefully I'll have some for you guys this weekend as well.
Oh, so, please bring some. Would like to wear it. Again, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for being with us. And to our audience, this actually conclude our Columbus African Spotlight series in prelude to the Columbus African Festival going down this weekend. Saturday, July 29th and July 30th. 2 days this time around. And it's going to be downtown Columbus. Please come. Let's celebrate Africa. Let's celebrate our culture, our beautiful culture. And we thank you for being with us for the past 3 days to highlight some of the great performers that are going to be there for the festival. We thank you for your time and we appreciate you. We'll see you Saturday and Sunday. Thank you very much and peace.
When we talk about Africa, unfortunately, a lot of people have a misconception about the continent of Africa. The mission is just to showcase African culture by educating people. We have different cultures in the continent of Africa, so the whole idea is to find a way of showcasing that.
Drip on the butter. Big up on the bobo, them a drip big Leon star. I don't stop on them. Swagger. You the pillar, they love food. Me I'm a bad boy. Beats killer. Showstopper. I try nets on them. You the pillar, they love food. Okay. Now that get swag like this bad boy. The last standing dragon like Leroy. The bobo fiba moon. All nets are shine. Daytime like sun they burn them. Green, white, blue, now me represent. Any say I pass like him feel send a president. Win one, red lights, blue lights. Film where I link you no go ever see me break lights. Slow it down for what? Turn it down for what? Vertically, pape me I must stunt. Dope salon bobo me na high grade. I keep the gallon wet like a pump aid. Back in the days it been fit ya, but now when you check it fits pass. Leon star ball at the kick pass, at the kids pass. Bounce. Rap on the bobo them a drip big. Leon star, I don't stop on them. Swagger. You the pillar, they love food. Me, I'm a bad boy, beat killer, showstopper. I try nets for them. You the feel like they blood full, dripping hard on the bus they yard. MDG drop 'em like what? Some of them boys them acting slow. I run things, I hope you know. I get in them. I get in them. Big man thing. When I pull up, lies on me like Kuma will. I run the ring, all I do is win. I'm on the top like a post to pin. Got the better screw formula. So what you gonna do? Nada, cause we ain't going nowhere. Never, and we ain't playing fair. Never, get used to it, get used to it. Been doing this thing for so long, get used to it, get used to it, yeah. Been running this thing for so long, boom boom bye bye, and I hate your head. Who the one test the boy go fall dead? Boom bye bye, and I hate your head. Who the one test the boy go fall dead? Yeah. Rap on the bubble, them a drip big Leon star. I don't stop on them. Swagger. You the pillar, they love fool. Me, I'm a bad boy, beat killer, showstopper. I try nets for them. You the pillar, they love fool. Dripping hard on the bus, they yard. MDG drop 'em like what? Some of them boys, them acting slow. I run things, I hope you know. I get in them. I get in them. Get used to it, get used to it. Been doing this thing for so long. Get used to it, get used to it, yeah. Been running this game for so long. Boom bye bye, and I hate your head. Who the one test the boy go fall dead? Boom bye bye, and I hate your head. Who the one test the boy go fall dead? Yeah.
Drip on the butter.
Is to get to 20,000 people this year. A lot of other cultures are showcased. This is an opportunity to create a Pan-African celebration. It's very important for the Africans to come out and celebrate because we've come a long way and we want the city to recognize us in numbers.